Hello, 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 hello. Matthias, hello. Connor, hello. Doing very well, thank you. Pontus, hello. Harand, hello. Here for some more com goodness. I know you can't keep yourself away. AC, hello. Julian, hello. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one. Quacko, hello. Bit late today. Minute late. Okay. So, the name of the game today is WMI. I don't know if it's random or maybe fate, but yes, this is indeed the start to the stream. Daz, hello. I run a tight ship here. Yeah, I want that 1 minute back with interest. You have to stay after everyone's gone in the chat to keep the engagement going. Okay. No, unfortunately, no new video. Well, I mean, I've got the big collab video, which is exciting, but I can only do one video a month, and that will probably be that collab video will probably be November's video. I don't know if I'm going to get another one out in time. Jube, thank you. Yes, it was good fun. Nice chap. It was good. It was good fun to talk shop with someone. I suspect it won't be the last one as well, which is nice. Okay, so what am I doing with my life today? So ultimately, what I'm trying to do is print out some system information so we can log it. That is, yeah. Oh yes. Turns out getting the OS versions of string is a surprisingly complex task, and certainly involves leaking personal information if you're not careful. So and getting the GPU driver is also equally difficult. So last time we started doing all this com horror to get the GPU ID. So we needed a WebM locator, we needed to co-create some instances, we needed to connect to some servers, we needed a cozy proxy blanket, we needed an enum WebM class object, we had to execute what looks like SQL, create some variants. Like it was an awful lot of code. My plan today is, because I think it's good exercise to do anyway, because this is not very well cleaned up. This is doesn't have good resource management. A lot of stuff leaks, and I think we might need it for other bits of system information we want. So my plan, such that it is to cool. Julian, that's interesting. Thank you for sharing that. My plan is to lift and shift this all to a new class. Basically, go back to using exceptions because it is the one true way to do error handling, and then I can just have one try catch around the final call and just return an empty string, so we can get rid of all this do or false gubbins that I don't particularly like. Yeah, I think we'll just start doing that. I don't really know what. So that's. Interesting. The global scope operator just is, I use it as a indicator that it is code that I didn't write. So anything third party or platform other than the std namespace, I tend to do that. So when I'm glancing down here, I'm like, obviously I didn't write coset proxy blanket. Obviously I'm not a psychopath, but it's very obvious now. So it's more of just a personal preference. You absolutely do not have to do it, but I quite like it. Okay, so let's do a let's do e source utils, because I don't really have like any platform specific stuff because this is all Windows. Let's just do WMI .h. That's what my plan is, to create a WMI class which handles all the setup, everything, and then we can just have a single query function. So I quite like to start off with the interface, because interface design is the hard part, right? It's the, kind of deciding what the the API is going to be that people will have to use and rely on is surprisingly complex and nuanced. The implementation is just kind of typing on a keyboard. I don't WMI or angry WMI. I don't like either of them because obviously it's not a noun, so that doesn't make any sense. But that looks horrible. Failed at the first hurdle. I guess that because it's the most consistent. I think we'll go with this because it is. I guess actually you could have like queria. Is that even how you spell that? Queria even a word? Whatever. I've already spent more time on this than any sane person has means to. Okay, so I want something like auto query constant string query. That's overloaded. What do they call it? They call it a query string. Well, actually, it's technically WQL, isn't it? I guess because that's the Windows query language. Is that what that stands for? The WMI query language. So we're going to take a WMI query language. And I think we're going to produce a std vector. I'm not going to make this super generic. Like we could template this up the wazoo to enumerate all the different weird invariant types to get out. But I think, to be honest, like for what we need, this is going to be fine. Oh my goodness, Cozy Blanket, Credential Guard, and using Kerberos. That sounds like a nightmare. I'm not doing any of that. Okay, so that is basically the only interface I want, right? Here's a query. Give me back a vector of strings that match all the possible results, and then we can something ranges that out the wazoo. So what's system info? What do we need? We're gonna need a WebM locator and a WebM services. I think the enumerator you would create per instance. So I guess the only actual stateful bits we need are the locator and the services. Do I want to just pimple this rather than making this really gross? No, I probably overkill at this point. It's like kind of commit. Something called WMI is obviously tied to Windows. What miserable includes do I need? Might not need those two actually. Okay, so what we'll need though is I suspect these are I suspect as these are COM objects, I just need to call release on them. Yeah, okay, fine. So that can be std unique get in the end. I WebM locator, and then something that looks like a I'm just trying to think the best way of doing this. I'm probably just going to lambda, so I wonder if I can just yes, always want. Yes, I am British, and yes, I do want lots of misery in my life, and yes, those two things are intrinsically connected. Const auto com release, const auto com pointer, com pointer. I think we've already got this somewhere else, to be honest, but it's fine. Const static. Can I do that? I could just pimple it and I don't have to worry about it. What am I doing? Why? Because basically, what I need is something that will take a I void I were bem low. All right. It doesn't like I were bem. Okay, so it's probably this one. Ooh. Dealer's choice. Why do we have it? Who knows? I've lost all control over my life, and I don't know why we have this. It's for querying parts of the Windows system to get some system information out. Ho ho. Okay, I reserve the right to change this later when it doesn't work. And then service. Service. Something like that. Services. Yes. Well, because we very well could have more than one service, and we don't want to limit ourselves. Okay. Let's go eSource utils wmi.cpp hash include wmi h namespace game. I'm probably going to want most of these. And then wmi something like that, and then I think that's wrong. I don't think these do need to be explicitly initialized because they have a sensible default constructor, but I'll be a good citizen and do it anyway. Okay, something like that. I suspect it's just my terrible tooling. I was playing around with, like, I don't know why I have to run the compdb thing on when I'm using the Wine MSVC, because I was writing some just Linux code using Clang earlier, and neither of them just finds the compile commands JSON file fine for everything. So I don't really know what's going on with this. I think I might move away from this setup for the next project. But hey ho, here we are. Let's get this building. Oh, I meant to check this before because I was messing around with wine again. So far, so good. Yeah, I mean, CPU rep is effectively a abstraction over the standard, right? And the standard is not a great way of learning the language, but it's good for looking into things. But it's not. CPU ref won't teach you like idioms and paradigms and best practices and stuff like that. It just gives you a kind of a slightly more digestible way of understanding what the primitives are. See if this blends. Oof, oof, oof. I suppose I actually probably need. It's because I do need. Const auto com release equals const auto. I think just by value is fine. Actually, no, it will be a pointer, won't it? Ignore me. Com pointer release. And then release. All right, hang on. I've literally done this in the font rendering. So text factory. Oh, it's literally here. So I do have to decal type it. How annoying. Because it will construct. Oh no, so that's fine. That just needs to be decal type. No, it's because it's part of the type, isn't it? So I think I will have to pimple this, but that's fine. Otherwise, I will need to have that here, but it doesn't like it being. I'd like to. I've not used modules yet, but I do want to give it to go, and I'm tempted to try it for the next project. At least starting off with it, but we'll see. I don't use ECS, MVC, maybe event based. It's kind of pretty. It's a sort of vibe based kind of architecture. This, and no, I don't work in the games industry. I'm making this up as I go along. Yes, near Vim on do it. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up. Lots of people chatting, which is good. I suppose the correct answer is probably to pull this out into a util. It's true. I have looked at the code for a game engine. Yes. Source com release.h fragment ones namespace game. Can I just stick this in here? Might need to be in line actually. I suppose if I'm going to all this effort, actually, I might as well just do it as a just do it the proper way. Struct com release auto operator auto com pointer void com pointer release. I think that's the right runes. Pretty sure it is. Not doing well today. I'm struggling a bit with some of the syntax, and I'm not sure why. Fine, whatever. So this now should be able to do include utils because it's just it will construct that type for you rather than it kind of have access to an existing one. So release now becomes. We're hoping this just becomes com release. I bet. Oh, ID2 D1. Oh, it probably doesn't decal type, does it? Because it's just in and of itself now a type. There we go. Can I... I wonder if actually I can get away with what I just had. Because... there you go. Right. Whew. Oh, nightmare. Apologies. I obviously don't need decal type now because I have a type. Is actually nice. I think that's actually nice syntax. Others may disagree, but it's my code. Okay, WMI now dash include utils slash comrelease. What was sorry, Omega and Jupe, what should I answer? I missed the question. The best way I think is to learn it. The best way to learn any language is just to write lots of code, right? So find some projects that you find interesting. Find some projects that you've done in other languages, then rewrite them in C++, and then just like Google, read books, ChatGPT, whatever you need to kind of get you to the end, and then kind of either reach out to a C++ community and ask for feedback. Ours is a pretty good one, and I'm always happy to give it. Or kind of just self-reflect and maybe like kind of ask yourself, like, what was easy to write, what was difficult to write, what did you find, what did you understand, what did you not understand, what did you have to Google for, etc., and then throw it all away and write it again with all the lessons you've learned, and you kind of can force self-iteration like that. It's a bit of a, it's not always easy. I just delete all that code, didn't want it anyway. Right, okay, now we're cooking with gas. So now I should be able to... Definition of an implicitly declared... What? Wait, check. Oh, yeah, of course. Ha. Good one. Did I enjoy the game engine? Like, yeah, it's like it's a really large and complex C++ code base. Like, what's not to like? Okay, so now if I go back to the system info, what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to whole meal just sort of like lift and shift this across and then exceptionalize it up. So 68. So that will be hash include errors. So this now becomes ensure, and then ensure. Ooh, super chat from Doug's. Thank you very much. Very, very kind of you. Well, yes, indeed, you do become attached to code. It's for the greater good. Failed to create locator. What? Do I not have a... Oh, it's... I don't even know what my own code is. Right, okay. That's better. Oh, getting ahead of myself. Let's first of all, so we don't need that, and we don't need that, and then we can do it based. Oh, let's close this down. Give us a bit more breathing room. That's fine. So this is now member. We can use the. I think we can use now third out pointer on locator. Hoping that works. Is that not in memory? Or am I just calling it wrong? I don't know whether the Vulkan code is public repo. I'll have a look. I don't think there's any reason why it shouldn't be if it's not. Brian, thank you very much. Tom, thank you. No, we're running in release mode is coming soon. I bet you can't use outpointer because of the miserable com typecasting, which is annoying. I think you should be able to use it there. I'm very surprised that you can't. This one... How do we do it in the font render? In the text factory? I'm sure we do a co-create instance here. Ooh, do I never wrap this? Ooh, am I leaking something here? Exciting. Oh, problem for another day. Anyone there? Ugh, this is gross. Okay, fine. I'm gonna have to literally do this the miserable manual way, which is actually now to bring all this back. And then do locator equals locator. No, sorry, it's going to be use it dot reset locator. There you go. I mean, the optimal is, I think it's partly down to personal preference and like your personal experience and how you learn and stuff. I generally, when I learn a new language, I generally start off with syntax. So just like how do you drive the language to do a thing. Then I would probably look at paradigms and idioms and kind of best practices, and then I would just be writing projects. Like my go-to projects, my two go-to projects for learning a new language are a TCP client server and a ray tracer. I mean, to get the most out of CPU is kind of a bit of a like. No, I don't want to say meaningless term because that sounds belittling. I don't mean like that, but like what I think it's a bit nebulous. Also, do you need to get the most performance out of it, depending on like what problem are you trying to solve, and is that required? Ensure equals socket failed to create services, and then we can do services dot reset services. I hate doing that. Yeah, I mean, Project Euler is good, especially if you're more maths based. Project Euler is very good. Like, I don't really like leak code, but like those kind of like the sort of easier ones of those, like the easier end of those, code wars and stuff like that, tend to give you kind of good self-contained little like isolated problems to solve. I use train return type because what's like with that whimsy, and I just wanted to try it and I kind of like it. I don't know why. Oh, this will fix later when I actually build this. Failed to set blanket. That's not something I type every day. That's a fun one. Right. Okay, let's see if get this bloody thing to blend so I can update my terrible tooling. I mean, C++ has changed an awful lot over the last, I guess, well, 11 was the massive step change, 14 and 17 were kind of incremental, 20 massively changed it, 26 is going to change the game again, so yeah, it's constantly evolving. Train return type's been there since 11. Also, this build and link time is atrocious. I definitely want to do something better next time. We can go through the render in a bit. Yeah, I really want to try and get this done, and the renderer code is neither good nor exciting. But Christ, this is slow. Right, okay, so that's done. Right, okay. No, I don't really have, because the whole point of this project is called int main to game. So I literally started off with a main file and nothing else, and we've just incrementally kind of built it up, built up the CMake and stuff like that. So the tooling is a little bit lackluster because my goal for this is for the first release, and probably the only release of this game, I want every single line of code to be written live, so I don't do anything off stream. And there's always more interesting stuff to do than set up tooling. So yeah, that's why. But again, next project, I want to put a little bit more effort into the initial setup. And Clang-D is indexing. It is indexing hard. So yeah. Lessons learned. Okay, so that should be pretty pucker now. So let's go on to auto WMI query. I really wanted to use string view, but I'm pretty sure there's the Bistra assumes there has to be an alternative string, which is a bit annoying. I don't want to make that mistake. Don't want to be passing a string view into something that expects a C string. Otherwise, some loser on the internet will point it out. Okay, so let's go back to the system info. And this hot mess here is right. Basically this. So this should be that, and then ensure, and then failed to execute query WQL, and I'm pretty sure Bistra, everyone's favorite. I mean, it's obviously a hashed find of underscore Bistra T, obviously. Here we go. Yeah, there's no pointer and size, which is a bit of a shame. I don't know what a big angry Bistra is. Yeah, ensure. Oh yes, thank you. But then here, so we should be able to do wql.cstra. Gotta make sure it's forward only. I don't want to be going backwards. I don't know if that's to do with iteration. I literally have no idea, but no error object. Another, I'm sure. I mean, there's just so much that you could do with this. Don't send status. What's the difference between flag return immediately and return immediately? I think they have the same value. Yeah, Bistra is probably the Windows sort of type. It's probably just a type def. I think Windows only uses that one type, and it just type defs it to all the different names. Okay, fine. So now that we've got that, so this will need to be a stood unique. Hang on. Auto enum help, I'm stuck. Unique pointer. I were bem, you were bem, we all were bem. I were bem. Event sync? Nope. I enum webm class object com release can I do it here? I really just want to. Yeah, I can. Nice. Okay. Why can I not do it above here? I feel like this should. It might just because my tooling hadn't caught up yet. I wonder if this, because it casts it to avoid star star, it might not do it. Oh, okay. Tijo, hello. Oh, sorry. So what I want, one of the things I want the game to do is as soon as it runs is to dump to the log a bunch of system information, such as like the operating system, what graphics card you've got, drivers, OpenGL version, all that kind of stuff. Like I want to immediately, before any code is run, capture some state information so that if anything crashes later on, the log file automatically has a bunch of system information, which might help me. So this is basically my desperate attempt to work with Windows in a way that it wants me to get out system information, because it really wants me to use its thing called the WMI, the I keep thinking it's like Windows Media Interface, but it's not that. It's Win32. What's it stand for? Windows Management Instrumentation, which basically allows you to run SQL queries against the system. So as a port, for example, oh, fuck's sake. If I don't lock the screen, if you run this query, you get out this information, right? And that's what I'm trying to do, but through C++, which involves invoking WMI, which involves invoking COM, which involves setting a proxy blanket, and just all the horror that goes with it. But I think it's also a good exercise in abstraction. Like, how do you take a miserable C API that you don't control and wrap it in some nice C++? How do you like bury the misery down and expose a nicer interface? So I think there's kind of value in doing it anyway. Also, I'm definitely going to want this for the next project, which is looming. So I think it's worth doing. Yes, I do use CMake. Crazy Marcus, thank you. Okay, right. So now we've got an enumerator, we can go through this. So this needs a little bit more get Trixie. What's that going to look like? We're going to need to probably pass that in as part of the interface. So the interface is already kind of changing. Oh no, it's a wide string. Fine. Constd. What am I even getting? Is it the field name, I guess? Like, field name? Constd string field name? Property name, yeah, okay, that's a good one. It's all just Windows for now. I'm just sticking with Windows. I've got enough strife going on in this in this project without having to worry about cross platform. Property name, and I'm going to need to now use include utils / text widen, although it does more than widen now, but yeah, we won't make mistakes. Okay, so const auto property name wide equals text widen property name. That just uses some Win32 Misery to convert it from a std string to a std was string, which means I can now put this into here, property name y.cstr. No, nice. Did I put Win32 twice in the title? If I did, it was unintentional. No, it's not there twice in the title. And that's, I don't know which title you're referring to. Oh, unless you're joking because Misery is also Win32. I see. Sorry, I missed the joke. Okay. So we're kind of getting there now. I think the other thing I need some sort of what do these need cleaning up? I assume obj needs clearing up. The enumerator will clean itself up. So this should probably be auto obj equals std unique pointer I wbem class obj com release. And then the out pointer obj. So we're actually just going to try and get whatever we can from this, from the wbem infinite, and just shove it all in a auto values equals std vector std string, and then we can do values dot pushback Worcester, the narrowed Worcester. I will actually catch. I think that would probably constitute a full error there, so I'm happy to leave that as that. If you can't get one, I can't see why you wouldn't be able to get the rest of them. So that'll clean itself up, that'll clean itself up. That's all good. So I think the last thing is the variant. The variant needs to go clear at the end of its scope. I think that's the only one I'm missing. So struct auto variant. So this will have a variant bar, and in fact, actually, I think I can just then do auto variant variant clear. Bar. I think that'll work, because then I should be able to just construct it for me. So then I should be able to do I guess it doesn't need to own it, do it? So I could just do auto var equals auto variant. That's a lot of auto. That will scope it as well, which is nice. So I suppose we could just be explicit with that. Nice. Okay, fine. So object get that, get that, get that. We'll try and turn the string value into that. I might end up querying this if it's not a bistro, depending on other things we get. If we need to put out integers, we will have to think a little bit more about it. But for now, I think that's fine. Jason, hello. Thanks for joining us. I think that's what I need. Now to see if it still works. So with all this in place, I should be able to go to the system info. I should be able to now do include WMI, sorry, utils WMI. I want to, when we get the system info, I want to do WMI equals construct it once. And then say, for instance, GPU ID. This should then take a const game WMI. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And then we should be able to do const auto props equals WMI dot. I got rid of the thing, didn't I? Oh, that's hard to read. What was the actual query I ran? Select all from Win32 video. Select all from Win32 with video controller. So select all from Win32 video controller, and then return. Oh, get some ranges in there. Return props to stood views. I think I can do join with space. Stood ranges to stood string. I'm hoping that's right. Oh, it's not. You're right. It is not marked as const, but I think it can be because everything else is kind of already set up. Right? Question mark? Yeah, we can template it if we need more types. Oh, it's a complex question. I'm trying to build a game from scratch. C++ and OpenGL, but at the moment I've kind of gone on a side quest to gather system information from Windows for logging and debugging purposes, and it's proven to be quite the challenge. You're right, it doesn't. You are 100% correct there. It does not take one argument. Captain. And then this now also needs to take the WMI. See if this works. That's really nice. Because it was working before. It was quite a satisfying end to last stream. Indeed. You are absolutely right. But it has been a while since I've forgotten to save the file before building it. That's an old school mistake. That no, there'll be no particle system in this game. This game has only really probably got a few streams left, I think. Have I still got my to-do list? Right, so this is basically what's left, right? System info for logging, config options, project's going to be runtime read from a file, check the release build and wire in some of the config options so we can selectively disable certain error handling and stuff like that, do some levels and then ship it, and then take like a short break and then come back and do a new game. That's kind of it. I am very much... I've thoroughly enjoyed this live stream project. It's been absolutely fascinating. I've learned lots and I've had lots of fun, and we've written some good code, we've written some questionable code, and it's largely been pretty good fun, but I am kind of itching to get on to the next project. I've learned a lot from doing this, and I'm kind of keen to roll that into the next project. I want the next project to be slightly more ambitious. I definitely want to write a better renderer, a more complex renderer. I mean, well, the thing is, I integrated ImGUI quite early on in this and then just kind of forgot about it. So I want ImGUI to be kind of a much more prominent feature in the next game. Yeah. Okay, fine. So... Oh, wop, wop, wop. Why is that? Also, I didn't throw any exceptions, which I was kind of... Because what I really need actually is this. Game error. Right. Failed to get GPU ID E. Man, the logging sure was a time. So I'm kind of curious why that didn't do anything. It's going to be a little puzzle game. It's not going to be very good, but it's sure going to fulfill most of the criteria for being a game. Yeah, I need to play around with what's the render doc alternatives? Is it PIX and the NVIDIA Insight? Because I won't be using render doc on the next project. Is the query exactly correct? Who knows? Who knows? Oh, next project. I mean, I don't know if you mean like graphical reflections or C++ reflections, because it won't have C++ reflections, which is a shame. Yeah, I need to give it a go, because assuming it supports OpenGL and bindless textures, because I want to go full bindless. Going full bindless. Going to throw all the bindings into the sea. They just hold me back. Curiouser and curiouser. Why is that? It's obviously constructed it. Okay, seems like PIX is the way forward. I'm not a C programmer, so I can't really offer any resources, I'm afraid. You'd be probably better finding I'd try and find a community and ask there, like people who are interested in the language, because I can't really help. Okay, so what's my... Oh, I've been using so many different debuggers recently. I keep forgetting all the key bindings. So our WQUIL is select all from Win32 video controller. I'm pretty sure that's right, but we shall see what we shall see. So this is widen that property name to caption. Right. They're going to get the property out. So I guess the first question is, do we... Okay, so we get something up here. Oh my goodness. Oh, what a fool. Oh. absolute helps if I actually return all the things I've so painstakingly abstracted and built. I hate everything. That's gonna get real grumpy with that. Oh yes, I've actually seen Travis's stuff before. I again, like in passing, I wouldn't say I'm a massive devoted follower, but he seems pretty switched on. I think he might work in the games industry actually. But he does he does I think most of his stuff live. Oh, hang on. I mean this. Do you have a copy? Not that I've probably read it all the way through, and I don't know which edition it is, but I sure do have the C book. Ah, look at that. Boom. Nailed it. Oh, Learn OpenGL is great for OpenGL like 3, which I guess is pretty reasonably standard. I do want to kind of push a bit beyond that, but it's a great learning resource. Okay, fine. So now can we... Let's see if we can extend this, because I... kind of curious if we can actually use this to, rather than all this misery that befell us before, be gone. What was my query that I ran? This is the true test of our abstraction. Can I use it in more than one place? Select all from Win32. I think I just want operating system and the caption, and we'll see what that gives us. I'm going to run this in a separate window off screen because I don't know what if I dump all information about the operating system, I don't know what it's actually going to put on the screen. So bear with me 1 second. Oh, KNRC. Is KNRC where you put the types of the function arguments above the function declaration? UJ, hello. Novello, hello. Everything in the streams is all handwritten. I've asked the Oracle like some questions, but none of the code has been auto-genned. I think. Oh, there might have been one double, triple nested matrix multiplication loop that I got some inspiration from, but no, there is no. I switched Copilot off. I do use some AI tools, but it's all switched off for this. This is all just me, like, doing it in hard mode for everyone's entertainment. Below, yes, sure. Why is this stopped? I've built it, so bat cat make file. I just want to be able to do make. Sorry, I'll get there in a minute. Build source debug gamexe build dash x1920. I use as few libraries as possible. So the only one we use, I mean, I don't know whether you can consider OpenGL a library. I guess it's more an API. We use STB for image parsing, and we use Jolt for physics, but everything else is hand rolled. All the maths, I mean, we have Lua scripting, but it's custom binding, so I kind of consider that custom, but I guess you could include Lua in that. Async in some tooling for parsing stuff, but mostly our own gubbins, right? I mean, that's pretty... I think I'd be tempted to run that. Dan Vale, resubbing for 6 months. Thank you very much. Okay. There we go. That's literally all I wanted. I don't have the build number, but you know, kind of everything in life. I think for now, and for the amount of time I spent on this, I cannot believe how complex it is to get that string out of the system. Okay, fine. I'm just figuring out what I'm going to do next. You can bear with me. Interesting. So how do you get... Oh, interesting. So if I do... Okay, fine. There's another fun we can do here. Let's take caption. Const. Hang on, what am I doing? Let's do that. And if we do, I believe it's version, and then we can do return std format caption version. All right, let's see if this blends. PHP was my first programming language, so it holds a very dear place in my heart, and I will have nothing bad said against it. Navido, yeah, we're pretty close to being done. Like, I think we're definitely my aim is to have this done by the end of this month, but definitely by the end of the year. So I really don't think we're that far away. I don't know. I get quite a lot of value out of OOP, so to mark it as the worst paradigm ever seems a little bit inflammatory. Look at that. I assume that's a build number. I don't really know, but it's definitely more information than we had before, so that's good. So can I get the GPU driver? What happens if I take off caption? Oh, it's loads of juicy information here. I'm kind of tempted just to dump all this. I'm just checking there's nothing I don't want in here. But it's got like... You can get the refresh rate, you can get the video resolution, you can get driver information, driver date, driver version. Like that's pretty cool. I think I might dump more of that later. I think for now though, we can just take this. In fact, actually, let's just take the whole thing and do. I'm gonna do I've already called them separate things, so I'm gonna keep it the same. But instead of caption, I think I can get driver version. And then I can just do GPU driver WMI. Yeah, okay. I will open source some of it, but the next project will definitely be open source from the start. So, because again, I feel that's kind of a lesson I learned after doing this, is I didn't really set up, because I've got a bunch of assets that I've paid for, checked into Git. I can't really share a lot of the code, and to go and scrub it all is a massive nightmare. So I'm going to try and be better going forward with that. Oh yeah, thanks. I will change the exception message. Yes, Windows exposes its own internal gubbins via querying, via SQL syntax, basically. GPU driver. There you go. So good. I've got it twice, but slightly different. I wonder if those are installed drivers, because you effectively get a collection. I wonder if I've got like an old one like that needs cleaning up or something. Oh well. It's nice that we can just dump a whole bunch of information, and I'm going to keep it simple for now, but for next project, I might just dump everything. Oh, of course. Yes, one's for the the actual graphics card, and I guess one's for the integrated GPU. Okay, so what else did I want to get? System memory. That, I think, is a Win32 call, isn't it? To get memory size. Get physical. Obviously, it is get physical installed system memory. A pointer error that receives the amount of physical installed RAM in kilobytes. Sure. Stood uint size t, I guess, if it's memory. Like, technically that's correct, right? Auto system memory. We will include Windows. I will need to hash include the def. Nope. Yeah, it's just Windows. It's just Windows. So I want a auto mem equals a u long, and then I'm just going to do get physically installed memory mem. Normally I would check and assert, or check and throw, but as the philosophy for these specific functions is just return an empty string if you can't get it. Return mem equal well, so in fact I don't need to. Thanks. Mem equal return mem equals 0 empty string, else stood format mem. Fine. Give me like that. I could probably get it through WMI, but Hello, computer? Computer, hello. Alright, thank you. Sure, that looks like about how much memory I've got. Okay, I think give the WMI a break. And then finally, I don't think so. What I'm gonna do is I can't get OpenGL info yet because I've not instantiated it. But what we'll do is we will dump it from the window class. So if we get that far, we at least get that because I think you can get. Is it the vendor or something in the version? Although actually, I don't even know if we need OpenGL get driver. There's vendor, renderer, and version. I guess we could just dump all that from there. So what I'm going to kind of descope that. And then get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Okay. And then in window land. At the end of the constructor, we'll also do const auto star vendor equals gl get string gl vendor const auto renderer equals gl get string gl renderer const auto version equals gl get string gl. Oh my goodness, why are there so many version options? And then 1, 2, 3. But these come back as unsigned byte chars or whatever, and unsigned char pointers. So quick reinterpret cast later. One of my favorites. Vendor. Ah, sorry. Yes, the glue byte. Well, actually, it's a const glue byte pointer. But I do appreciate the correct spelling of actually there in that context. Most people miss the Y as a second character. Why reinterpret cast on function parameter rather than acquisition? This is what I thought of. It doesn't really matter. I'm not using anyone else. Probably should have been at the point where I constructed it, yes, so it's in a sensible thing after that, but who knows? Sure. I mean, sure. Okay, let's comment up some of this because we've got quite a lot going on now. So add WI class. Add com release helper. It should be the other way around for what you're going to do. Okay. Integrate com release, finish system info, log OpenGL stuff. Cool. Nice bunch of commits there. Yeah, we can go through that. I think someone wants to look at the renderer. So the renderer is not great, but it is what it is. It's just a forward renderer, right? So we set up the camera data, set up all the buffers for the camera data and the light data. We literally loop through it. It's just a forward renderer. We loop through every entity and render it. I really hate this callback thing here, but I will fix that in the next one. It's not great design. Just literally just GeoDraw elements, everything. Add any debug lines that we have, and then we have to, because I use MSAA buffers, so multi-sampled anti-aliasing buffers, I have to basically downblit. I don't know what the correct verb is. I have to kind of downsample them to single sampled frame buffers. So we blit all those down, and then we set up a read and write ping pong frame buffers for doing the post-processing effects. We apply SSAO, we render the skybox, we then do the post-processing effects if they're enabled, so HDR, grayscale, and blur. We then do any text rendering, like UI elements, and then we just slap it straight into the frame buffer, the default window back buffer, and then window later on gets called with swap buffers. And that just locks the mouse, so that's what it does. Have a quick little wander around. Resolve, thank you. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm making this up as I go along. Are you implementing the owl groves from scratch, Harand, or I assume you're not reaching for a library? So yeah, this is what we got. Got a little level we can walk around. It doesn't look great, and to be honest, it's probably not going to look any better than this, if I'm being totally honest. You can walk around. We have physics mostly, so you can kind of not walk into the walls, not walk through the walls and stuff. There's a skybox. There's SSAO. You can see all the little like dark shading in between like the corners. And then yeah, basically the idea is these barrels, because that was the only model I had. Well, we don't talk about the wall you can walk through. This barrel here moves with you, unless you're not looking at it, in which case it doesn't move. So the idea is that the puzzles will be largely kind of movement based, and you want to get this to the target. And if you get into the target, it will crash because the next level doesn't work. But it should load the next level. No, I'm not going to do shadows for this. I will possibly do shadows for the next one. I did SAO as a kind of a facsimile for it because it was just, yeah, I want to build out some better rendering tech for the next one and kind of planning for stuff like that in advance. I'm not really sure what kind of, is it PCF, PFC shadows? What's the good one? Percentage closer filtering. I might attempt that. Unless there's a better one. That is just a better way that I've heard for shadow mapping. That kind of helps. Doesn't it help reduce, like, is it salt and peppering or whatever it is, and Peter Panning and all the other weirdness that goes along with it? We got normal mapping. Yeah, that's kind of part of it. Have I got a rendered doc window open? Sorry, I'm just stalling because I need to go on to the next thing. Agreed. Games are hard. I see. I'm not that fussed about PBR. Like, I just don't know if it's worth the extra effort. Whereas I'll probably just have a simpler some sort of blin fong model. But I don't want to overload myself too much for this because I think we've already done a hell of a lot, and it's looking like it doesn't look great, as someone will be quick to point out. But I think the tech's pretty solid. There's a lot of bits I will happily reuse, and there's a lot of bits, and there's a few bits I want to rewrite. Okay, so system info logging done. Config options. Okay, I think we just need to sort of smash this out. Indeed. So the config options will be just part of me wants to have logging as a compile time option, and part of me wants to have it as a runtime option. I think I'm going to keep it as a runtime option because whilst there'll be some minor overhead in effectively checking an if statement on every log, it's really not a lot in the grand scheme of things. Especially for what we're doing. So I need to be able to toggle OpenGL error handling because that will have performance impacts. We need to be able to switch that off. We need to be able to toggle logging and then toggle full screen and window position. I think those are the only things I want. So let's source game config.h. I'm going to keep this super simple. Like, this does not need to be super generic. I guess the only issue... Okay, what I would normally do is I would create an additional interface for the backing for the config, so that way it could be in memory, it could be on a file, it could be in a database, it could be anywhere, and then dependency inject that into like a config reader and writer. I think for how close we are to the end of this project and the fact that I know I'm not going to want anything else other than a file, I will keep this simpler. That doesn't mean I won't do something different for the next project, but a config I think is not too hard to write. No, thank you very much. Yes, it was good fun. Oh yes, thank you. Of course, this is not to be confused with the auto-generated. We've already got the auto-generated config, which has the compile time config options. Let's get a little bit messy. Yeah, all that's going to come up like when I have better. I'm going to bring back ImGUI integration properly for the next one. I want to properly integrate it, and so it'll have permanently stuff like that. So again, not too fussed for this. Indeed. Okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to... I suppose this is namespace, so it's not too bad. Okay, fine, I'm just going to ignore this because we don't use it. I will think more about it next time. So we're going to basically want... I'm tempted to just make these getters and setters. Oh, that's true. We could just write from a Lua file. Oh, I hadn't considered that. Oh, interesting. Yes, let's do that. I think that'd be fun. And also remind me how the Lua works. So let's do... What are we going to do? Let's do a simple one first. Let's do... I'm trying to think how I want to orchestrate this. Although actually, I still want the same interface, right? fact that's going to be backed by Lua is actually somewhat irrelevant to the interface. So let's just do auto logging enabled const bool auto set logging enabled bool logging bool enabled. If I'm gonna have to write it back, that means no. Actually, whilst I do really like that idea, if I'm gonna write it back, that means I would have to modify the Lua script in C++ and check it's still valid and write it back, right? Like if I want this to persist. Do I even need a set? Is there any situation where I want to update the config from the game itself? I guess to remember whether you were full screen or not the time before. Interesting. Thoughts? I could just keep it simple and have it just purely read-only. I think for this, because I'm kind of just wanting to get this sort of wrapped up, I think yeah, but I mean, like, I won't now. As in, I could define it that we don't, right? Because we're quite near the end of the project, and this is more just to kind of round out this last bit. So, yeah, I think let's just keep it simple, right? Let's just keep it simple, right? Let's just check we can do this. Wire it up. I'll probably just read from a text. I might read from a Lua file. Undecided yet, because I don't know if my Lua abstraction only can call functions, which means I would have to have the config as functions within the Lua script, which I'm not sure if that is kind of canonical. And I don't really want to go and edit all that. So let's just keep it simple. In fact, actually, well, hang on. I'm wondering now if this even needs to be a class, because I'll just open the file and check each time, right? That there's literally no, like, it's going to be low. Oh no, oh. I don't want to be doing file IO every time I do log, in addition to the file IO I'm already doing. Do I cache it? Or do I just make it the caller's responsibility? Let's make it the caller's responsibility. So what I'm thinking, actually, sorry, this is my kind of thought process here, is when I generate the config option, there's nothing to stop me having this in here, right? Right, and now I don't actually need this because I can just do source config.cpp, right? And then do hash include config.h and then namespace game config. CMake config. So that works. Indeed. No, I've deprioritized save game. So that's going to be the next one. I just don't think there's... Again, I am kind of just trying to wrap up the last few loose ends on this. I don't want to be so aggressive that it feels disingenuous to say, oh, the game's done, when it's missing some stuff like a configuration. However, game just get good and solve the game in one sitting. Why has this been a dick? I guess I could just start writing code. Utils. I guess the issue with it not being a class is that I can't. Am I now hoisted by my own petard? Because how do I know what file to read? I guess I could just make it so that it always has to be in the root. It's not particularly extensible or configurable. But equals file conf const auto config equals file dot I think is it like as text. Ooh. All right, okay. I'm getting there. Could just return false. Okay, so that, I think that's right. As strong. Okay, so let's do const auto lines equals config include ranges views split. I think I can do that. Yeah, no save states. Keeping it simple. We could do level passwords. Maybe I haven't decided whether I want to do that or not, because it'd be trivial just to pull out the assets. Why is this? Oh, it's because it's Why is this rebuilding so much? Don't know. Anyway, well, I'm just gonna. Cannot get stuck in analysis paralysis. The relentless march of progress must be had, and I'm just going to do it simple. I'm just going to read from a text file. I'm going to split it. I'm going to split it. I'm going to pull out the thing I want. Bish bash bosh. Don't want to do that. That could be a config option. Like a runtime option. I think. Could it be a runtime option? Oh, it is. No, it's already a compile time option, isn't it? So it doesn't really matter. God darn it. Okay, fine. I'm just going to sort of see if I can remember how to do this. Const auto. Nope. Not even that. Not even that. For const auto line in lines. Const auto parts equals line the views split equals sure. Should include utils error ensure stood ranges size parts equals 2. Invalid config line. Fine. And then const auto key equals parts not const auto value equals parts 1. Invalid. Right. You've gone squiggly red lines. Okay. The third part is happy with this. This I can't remember function beginners type on split view. Yeah, and I could scan if it. I just feel like everything should be a range. Oh my goodness, what have I done wrong? I'm pretty sure that gets me a string view. String view is a range though, so I'm kind of surprised I can't. View split. Is this? Oh, interesting. Actually, I wonder if conversion loses qualifiers 20. What? Okay, fine. I wonder if it can't know this a priori. Ensure is just something I wrote. It basically helps me if something is false, then throw an exception, but use compile time string formatting to print a nice message. And then exception is also a custom class which includes a stack trace. So this is how I get nice stack traces when I have an exception. So ensure expect is equivalent to assert. So that dies at the point there, and in theory should be and will be. Oh, that's one thing we need to do. That's one of the things we need to do in the release build. Is this? These will get stripped out and release, but ensure is always there. It's always there. I could scanf. I don't know why this is being grumpy. Like, I should be able to. Split on that. what's a little dynamic allocation between friends? If key equals logging enabled, return that equals true, true, that's false. The subranges. How do I reify that into a thing? Why is... Literally, I'm struggling to understand why I can't pull something out of that. Subranges get. Is that a thing? Like that. Oh, is it like that? No matching function call for get. What's the actual compiler say? How do you send that type for subrange to subrange? Does that mean... I wonder if this is because... I suspect it's because this itself is a subrange. So I've actually got a subrange of subranges. I suspect that's where it's falling afoul. But I'm kind of tempted to... I feel obligated to try and make this work now that I've started it. Nice try. Why is this so? Line itself will be a lazy evaluated subrange into the main thing. So that would be... I could just... Thing is, I think get only works if it can know the size, and if I can't get the size here, there's no way this is going to work. Yeah, I think it might be easier to just images to vector. All right. Yeah, you've meant to that for the last 15 years ish. I have massively complicated this. I've now the problem I have now is that in an attempt to kind of use lazy evaluation, I've ended up doing loads of allocations. But what are you gonna do? Oh my goodness, why are you still being there? Ah, so now can I do std get naught? No, okay, fine. Let's just do this the easy way, which is to do const auto line string equals std string line. Is that gonna work? No. Const auto delim equals line dot. Why is this? These aren't any of the methods I would expect to see on this. I would expect this to loop through and give me like something string like. Hang on. Right, okay, fine. So I get a string view for that. That's fine. And then I can do const auto delim equals line view dot find first of that ensure delim doesn't equal std string endpos. Is that invalid line? Config line. Line. And then we can do const auto key equals std string view line view dot data line view dot data plus delim const auto value equals std string view line view dot data plus delim plus 1 line view dot data plus rats. It's going to be line view dot length minus delim. something like that. And then if we get here, we'll throw exception. No missing logging enabled from config. String view I thought was pointer on a size. It's a pointer and a size. Oh, you can do it with 2 iterators though, which maybe is easier. So I think that's fine. I think that's fine. There might be an off by 1 error here. We'll see. Okay, fine. Oh yes. Sorry, I've just realized what I've done. Good spot. Yeah, SV is a string string literal, which makes this a string view rather than a const char star. So it just automatically constructs a string view around this. Okay, let's just see if this blends. I'm just gonna wire it up into just the main and just see if we can call this and see where we're at with it. Yeah, it's a literal operator. That's why I had to do this at the beginning. Okay, fine. So let's go game. And then right at the start here, let's do log. Can we probably do it from main actually, where we log all the other stuff? Game log info logging enabled. What is it, config? Game config logging enabled. I'm going to try running it without any file, and that should throw an exception. I will then create the file and put the valid thing in there, see if we can toggle it. Yeah, but the ones you create have to start with an underscore, I think. I think the non-underscore ones are reserved for the system. There's loads of great ones, by the way, all the chrono ones. So you can do like MS to turn a number into a milliseconds type, HS, all those kind of things. Those are super useful. I'm trying to think if there's any others in the standard that I know of. The 2 ones that come to mind are string view and then the chrono ones. Can't think of one off the top of my head. Cool. Okay, file type and file. That's good. So let's do nvim config, and then let's do logging enabled equals true. Invalid config line. Empty. Let's see what's going on. The bench, thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was good fun. I thoroughly enjoyed talking to Cherno. He's a super nice chap. Okay, so the config is logging enabled true with a thing at the end. So we're going to get lines. We're going to go to our first line. Our first line is logging enabled true. Oh, interesting. It's got the it's not stripped the new line character off the end. We can account for that. So delim is 16. So the key is logging enabled. The value is true, and then a massive size. Oh, cool. Okay, fine. I didn't realize about that. Yes, I guess you're right. Actually, you're right. This, of course, the size. This is just. I think this is fine. Actually, oh no, there's no reason that size should be massive. That's got the correct size. It's this, so it's done. Key is fine, right? It's done the same thing. It's taken the pointers to both those data. Oh, I need to. You're right, because I've mixed the two constructions, haven't I? What I've done is where was it? I've just drawn a blank config. This is 2 pointers, right? But what I think we can do is we can use the pointer in size, right? So that's that. Then the next one should be pointer plus 1, and then the size should be this. Yeah, that's what I've done wrong. And then I guess maybe -1 on the end to strip off the new new line. Yeah. Okay. I think. I made it wrong. So get the key, that's fine. Get the value is true. So if key equals, ooh, why is it? Let's start again. Why was that? I've almost only got a typo somewhere. I've got engabbled. Also, was my value steady? Correct. True, plus the new character. So we can do -1 off that. Getting there. God. I sometimes know what I'm talking about. I mean, I've used this excuse before, but I sort of do this after 4 days worth of work, and my brain is sometimes dead. But I'm here anyway, and we're going to do some C++. Okay. I'm going to name true. I guess for completeness, because that would have been false before, because it would have the new line character on the end, because it only just checks if it's true. I'm going to make a bold assertion that we should easily finish this in one stream next time, and then we do the release, and then we can type the levels, and then we're kind of done. Like, I think we're pretty much on track for finishing this by the end of November. Wrapping this up. Okay, nice, nailed it. Okay, cool. I'm gonna leave that there. So let's add config functions. We need to all that file reading and writing gubbins. We will abstract out. So that's don't you worry. Default. Sorry. Integrate changes. Default. Config. CMake 9 bump version. I'll try and remember to do a build. What's stream 90? Oh my goodness, stream 90. That's outrageous. Oh, actually, I tell you what I do need to do is where do we install the files? We also need to install file .config into. I probably need to ship the config, the default config with it, otherwise it won't work. Yeah, it's been hard graft this, but it's been good fun. I'm gonna. Don't have a. No, hang on a minute. What do I want? I want like hat. Sorry, it's just last little bit at the end. Do I not have an install command? So cmake install build config. I've not set a. CPAC, that's what I want. C build cpac -c debug. So I just check that goes in there. If it doesn't work, I'm not gonna spend too long doing it tonight, but I do try and remember to do it next time. Oh, sure, it doesn't take this long. Thank you. Right. Okay. DTR. UV tool run DTRX game. Rename it. Tree game. SAL. Fine, I'll fix that next time. Point to do next time is I don't know why it's not putting the config file. Oh, I bet it's actually because it needs to be something like project. Is it root? Whatever. Start of shipping config. And then I'll tag that as stream 90. Cool. Okay. Whew. Fun. Right, that's all I've got. I'm exhausted. Same time, Sunday, we'll finish off the config. And then we'll faff around integrating those config changes to do a release build. We'll tweak some stuff to make sure it's kind of slightly more optimal. We'll resurrect all. I think we're just going to resurrect all the levels we've got, place them nice in the level, make sure it kind of follows through, make sure that people can write their own levels, and that's kind of it. I really think we've only maybe got like 4 or 5 streams left of this. If we could do under 100 streams, I think that would be quite an achievement. So that's 10 more streams to do it, which is 5 weeks. So yeah, we should do it under that. Thanks everyone for coming on and keeping company. Apologies if it was a bit painful today. I couldn't get my brain around some of the bits and pieces, but I did enjoy. I'm a sucker for some Windows programming, so I did actually quite enjoy doing the WMI stuff. Right. See you Wednesday.